Hi, Natasha Dinman here, the Ultimate 48-Hour Author. Thank you so much for joining me for the proven formula to write, publish, and leverage your very first book without making any rookie mistakes, which is what I'm passionate about. Over the last 11 years, I've accumulated knowledge of writing 14 of my own books and helping 600 first-time authors be published. And I'm excited to share my blueprint. You're going to learn how to write a book in 48 hours and what it means and how it represents that being the business card on steroids. Now, first thing I want to cover off is the fact that probably this is not your first webinar. And the first thing I want to say is that if you have failed to write a book in the past, it is not your fault. There is a lot of information out there that leads to overload. And by that overwhelm, we can feel like there's just too much confusion, therefore we don't progress with it. So that information overload can keep us away from success. And it's okay if you have been concerned that you haven't been able to write a book in the past. I want to put those fears and doubts at rest because I know you can do it. I have helped so many people go through those fears and nervousness and vulnerability that they want to share and get over themselves, I like to say, and get out of their own way to write their own book. Some people then also like you to think you need to be, already have achieved a certain level of a success, or the big publishers want you to think that you need to have some kind of literary degrees. Well, I don't think so. I don't come from that particular background. I was an unknown. I didn't even speak a word of English before I was 14, and I have written 14 books. So the difference between us and those other guys is that we truly care for our authors. I want to share what has worked for my authors and what will work for you too. So let's get going. Let me share my PowerPoint presentation here, and let's hit it up from the start. All right, here we go. The proven formula to write, publish, leverage your first book without making those rookie mistakes. So who is this for? Okay, this is for anyone who wants to write a book for a legacy, launch, or a leverage purpose. This includes those that have amazing stories to share, and those that are maybe coaches, speakers, consultants, practitioners, therapists, and thought leaders, and those that want to convert their story and all their knowledge into a book and make an impact in the world. So I'll explain what the legacy, launch, and leverage means. So legacy is someone who really just wants to write the book to share their story, maybe a memoir. An autobiography is something that is a bucket list item. So you might not have any desire to build maybe a business behind it. A launch person was me 11 years ago when I had just come out as a life coach and I had no idea how to build my business, how to find clients, and I had no credibility like zilch. And writing my first book saw me from 0 to 6 figures in the first 12 months of the book being released. Okay. And then the leverage person is someone who has been in business for a long time, and now they are looking for that missing tool. Maybe a lot of people have told them you should write a book and they have not done it yet. So this is just like that final piece of the puzzle to really put all that wisdom and knowledge into a framework that you can bring out into the marketplace. So you might be a mix of those. You might be a legacy with a launch or a legacy with a leverage. Every book, by the way, has a form of legacy within it where the author shares some of their story. All right, so this is what we're gonna, I'll be showing you in this seminar, how to complete your book in just 48 hours. Even if you haven't started put it in pen to paper yet, I'm sure you're kind of a little bit doubtful how that can happen, but we've done it, and we've done it over and over for the past 8 years plus. How to rapidly raise your profile and become a person of influence without needing to spend years working on your credibility. Then we're going to go through how you can write an awesome book without the need to have gone to writing courses or have a degree in literacy. How to move away selling your time for money and doing exhausting one-to-one work and move into a leveraged business model that is easy to scale to 6 figures and beyond, and how to pull this all together without dealing with shady publishers, poor design, and a worry. An author's worth nightmare is a garage full of books that no one has read. So my big promise today is to give you my step-by-step strategy for writing your book in just 48 hours. All right, a little bit briefly about me. I am currently Australia's leading authority and author of 14 books and a mum of 3. I had all my 3 kids while I was building up this business over the last 11 years, and I absolutely love what I do. The business went from 0 to 7 figures in just 3 years, and we are past the 11-year mark now, and we just absolutely love sharing what we do with other people, how they can also create that within their lives. And to date, when you're hearing this seminar, we have helped over 600 first-time authors write, publish, and leverage their books with the Ultimate 48-Hour Author System. So I absolutely love what I do, and the fact that so many people say their lives have changed, because one of the last things they're going to see on this seminar is my quote, and I'll bring it in early now. But remember this: writing your first book is not about the book, but it is about the person you become at the other end of it. Really, really key distinction I want you to understand when it comes to writing a book. Okay, so how it all began, as I said, I didn't speak a word of English before I was 14. I was born in Macedonia. I grew up there, and at the age of 11 and a half, my mum came across, left me behind, not in a bad way, for 2.5 years, and set up a life in Melbourne, Australia. And in my throughout my schooling, I completed a degree in psychology and psychophysiology. However, I ended up working in the optical industry for main leading optical retailers, OPSM and Specsavers here in Australia. And that's what life was like. You know, it was wonderful. And of course, today you're hearing me from a completely different capacity. So our life turned 180 degrees because of what usually needs to happen for your life to change. Yeah, shit hits the fan. There is a crisis moment. So it was March 2010 when my husband called me out of my Specsavers store back home to deliver the news that he had lost our Specsavers franchise business. This was when I thought, oh my God, this only happens in the movies. But it happened to us, and I wasn't aware of any of this, but certainly went through all those emotions of denial, anger, blame, depression, and I found myself in a counselor's office to talk about what had happened. And she said to me, you know, how do you feel, and how do you feel? And I was like, oh, you know, maybe I wasn't destined to be like a psychologist or a counselor. Anyway, I started researching life coaching. And I end up, guys, enrolling into a $15,000 life coaching diploma that promised in the marketing 6 figures income, part-time hours. And I was like, oh my God, I need to figure out how to do this. My back's up against the wall. My husband has no work. I'm only working 3 days a week, you know, in a part-time job, raising my 18-month-old son. And I need to figure this out. And so I enrolled into this $15,000 life coaching course. Little did I know that coaching was not going to be about me helping other people, that initially was about helping myself, before I could help other people. Nevertheless, I thought, yep, there's a business that they say we can build behind this. So my first initial months, first 12 months, 50 different failed marketing attempts to find clients, $40,000 in courses. I did not stop at the first 15,000. I actually continued to invest in my education, in people who were getting the success that I wanted, so I could model them and learn from them. And certainly, you know, the intention was to get my return on investment tenfold from what I would learn. I also, at the same time, attended 104 networking events. Now, this is a key point here. I really want you to let it drop, because this was a strategy that my coaching school gave me. And they said, if you want to find clients or build a business, you've got to build your network. You know, your network equals your net worth. You know, that famous saying, oh my God, it's true. It is because I followed this 2 events a week strategy that when book number 1 came out in month 13, that's when the business went from $7,000 in the first 12 months to 6 figures in the next 12, because I already built like, know, and trust. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how I wrote my first book, The 7 Ultimate Secrets to Weight Loss. And I'm going to teach you the 48-hour author way. Then we're going to go through 3 key shifts you must have if you want success on this journey. So this is it, the first cover of my very first book. Basically, it was 7 months after I signed up for that coaching course, and I had only 1 paying client. And I sat down after one of those networking events with a printer of all people who heard about what I was doing, and vice versa. He was telling me how I could refer people his way. And he just stopped as I was talking. He goes, Nat, you know so much about human behavior and mindset. He goes, you should write a book. It will be your business card on steroids. And the penny just dropped in that moment. I went, oh my God, Stefan, I think you're right. I'm going to write a book. And come January 2011, I opened up my planner and I wrote my first 90-day goal. And it went something like this. It's the 31st of March, 2011. And I have just completed writing 90 pages in Word. I thought to myself, 90 days, 90 pages. Who can't write a page a day? And then I thought, I'm not going to stop and start. It might be a lot of stop and start. So what I want to do is maybe, you know, schedule 2 2-hour writing blocks in my week. And I'm going to go for typing out hopefully 7 pages each week. And so I did that and I stuck to it and I treated them as if they were paying clients. And in 80 days, I had the 90 pages. And then what? Then it's like, Mr. Google, I have no idea about any of these, you know, of the publishing world and anything. And I researched, and obviously a lot of sponsored ads came up. And I've talked to a few companies who blew a lot of smoke up my ass, and then bought a publishing package. Nevertheless, the following 3 months, the book was done. June 2011, as my baby number 2 was coming out, so was book number 1. And oh my goodness, that day when I held this book in my hands for the first time, I looked at my face and I went, oh my God, that's me. I was so proud of myself. And it's in that moment, it's as if I grew like 3 inches taller. I thought I was in a bit, not in a bad way, but that confidence and self-worth is second to none when you are writing your book. So the next thing I want to teach you is how to write a book in 48 hours. So that was still a pretty fast way, right? 80 days, start to finish in writing. But the 48-hour author way came about when I wrote this book, Ninja Couch Marketing. I co-wrote it with Donna Brown, and her and I decided we would go away and write half a book each. Who can't write 6 chapters each? We were aiming for 40,000 words, which is about the sweet spot that I encourage my authors to write a book around. And so the whole idea was that we'd get ready and get it all done on the weekend. But we had to work really hard. And so I had this idea of chapter number 13 of interviewing a social media guru, because this was all about marketing your business on the couch. And so then I went to Daniel after a networking event again, someone I met networking, and we sat down and I had my clipboard of 20 questions. And I started asking him, and he started saying stuff to me, like answering the questions, and he was talking really fast. And I was just like, oh my God, Daniel, slow down. I can't keep up with you. Actually, can you just stop for a second? Do you mind if I put my phone on and actually record your, our interview? And then when I go home, I'll make sense out of it. He said, go for it. So I go home, I enjoy the 20 minutes and I sit down. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to transcribe something, but oh my God, it's the most boring, slow thing in the world. So I thought someone must do this for a job. So I go on Upwork.com, which exists now as well. And I hire for $20 someone to transcribe the 20-minute, audio. And 3 or 4 days later, a couple of days later, it comes back to me, and I look at it and it's like laid out exactly like you see it in the book. All I needed to do is tidy up the sentences, so tighten them up, because when we speak, we use longer sentences, and I needed to remove any idiosyncrasies from my speech, because sometimes we repeat certain words that don't look good on paper. So that process took about an hour and a half at the most. And then I was getting ready with Donna for this really hard work weekend. And as we're getting ready, and I'm telling her we're going to type for 90 minutes, we're going to have a 15-minute break, type for 90 minutes. So I'm going through all this, and I'm like, hang on. Why the hell are we typing? Why can't we unpack our chapters? So this is called the chapter unpack system. It's in the back of the Ultimate 48-Hour Author book, the template. And then go away and speak for 17 to 20 minutes, because that over 12 chapters is about 40,000 words. And so we decided we'd do it that way. And guess what? I actually did my 6 chapters in less than 3 hours, because 17 to 20 minutes. And then we had a girls' weekend away. And in 72 days, this book was out. Now, one thing I want to tell you about writing a book elevates your rockstar profile. So you need to focus on, if you want to build your credibility and be seen as, standing out from the rest, you got to focus on building your rockstar profile. And that is featuring yourself as an author, as a speaker, and a person in the media. An author, a speaker, and a person in the media. That's what I'm illustrating here on this slide. If you can have those three things, you will never be lack of clients or interest in you speaking at more events. I'll be uptaking more media opportunities. This is what all of our authors are doing. This is what they're building. This is just a collection of some of the books, and I'm so inspired by them and what they do and the ways they're helping other people. Now, as a result of us doing this program, we ended up hosting 28 live retreats, when pre-COVID times, and then we pivoted online. We expanded the business in USA, Canada, New Zealand, all of those countries we regularly work with now. And since COVID, we hosted 10 virtual retreats, okay, which actually have proven to be way more effective and productive, because what used to happen at the physical retreats, a lot of socializing, drinking and dancing, not a lot of book writing, whereas the virtual ones are kicking butt to the real life ones, because people don't need to travel, they can focus in the writing hours, and the books are coming out even faster. All right, so, and we're a family, what I've been able to achieve myself internally, my self-worth, my confidence, my everything like that I used to be scared of is no longer there. Of course, I still have some fears, but it's just a whole new way, of my internal communication and how I feel about myself. Yeah. And externally, as you can see, this is my beautiful family. We've got 3 kids. My husband, Stuart, here, he runs the business with me. He's not here with us today, but he does the book unpacking and the hypnotic words and all that. And I was also able to give my mum the gift of not having to work anymore when she turned 60. She quit her day job. So did Stuart about 8 or 9 years ago. And we absolutely love the lifestyle that we've created. So I want to talk to you a little bit about where you might be at in your authoring journey. Okay, so I find, well, I don't know if you heard about this, but more than 82% of adults want to write a book. Oh my God, 82% of adults want to write a book, and less than 0.01 ever do it. So what the hell is going on here? So let me maybe unravel a little bit for you as to where I've met thousands of people over the last 8 years since I've been running these types of seminars, and I run like 40 or 50 a year. And so I'm constantly, finding out, and I live inside the brain of a first-time author. So the largest subset of the population that wants to write a book, but I haven't done it yet, are the thinkers. Yeah, desire is high. Thinking is constant, but action is non-existent. Maybe you're one of those people who has been thinking about writing a book for 5 to 10 years or longer, right? There was a famous saying, I don't know who said it, but it takes a bloody long time not to write a book. Yeah. All right. So we hope that at the end of this seminar, you're not going to sit in this one, because 70% of people that I ask who here has been waiting to write a book for more than 5 years, they will put their hand up. The next group of people are the perfectionists amongst us. They started writing 5 to 10 years ago, and I like to say they're moving around deck chairs, right? In content is really outdated, because if you started something 5 to 10 years ago, you are no longer the person you were back then. So if you need to start from scratch, that's my biggest advice I can give them. Yeah. And perfectionism equals, maybe write this down at your end, perfectionism equals insanity and looping. Perfectionism equals insanity and looping. 90% of something is better than 100% of nothing. So I really want you to focus, if you're going to do this, on progress rather than perfectionism. All right, the next group of people are the whingers that have no time. And why do people say they don't have time? Well, really, because of a few different reasons. And the one that I really want to point out to you is the one that the book is not all that important to them. They say it is, but it really isn't. So if we think about human values, if we have like health, travel, family, whatever in our top 3 values, our top 3 values is where we will spend most of our time and money. Yeah, probably 90% of it. And if writing a book is on value number 8 or 9, and that's where it's always sitting, guess what? You're always going to say, I don't have the time. It's not the right time, or I don't have the money. Okay. So this is the solution. For a temporary period of time, you need to push up writing a book in your top 3 values. Okay. Really, really important. Because when you do that, you will see how you'll find the time and money to get it done. Okay. Really important. And the key word that I said there is temporary. Writing a book is a temporary pain in the butt. Once you do it, you will benefit from it for life. Okay, then there's the authors who perhaps have already got the manuscript, but it's just sitting there on Word. They have not monetized it. Or maybe they have published it, but they haven't made any money. It's the garage full of books scenario there. There might be that fear of publishing. Who do I trust? I don't know where to go. All that kind of stuff. Or that fear of success, which holds more people back than the fear of failure. So I want to take you on a journey to leveraged authorship. The time that we have got left, I want to show you how you will get opportunities once you become a published author, how to repurpose your content, and ultimately, if it lends itself, sell your own high-end programs. So what's the problem here? Why are so little people, less than 0.01% of the 82% that want to write a book have not done it? Because they haven't made these 3 key shifts. And that's what I'm going to teach you. So the one thing you need to know, there are 3 simple shifts you need to make to start and finish your book rapidly and enjoy the benefits of a life or business as a business owner. And that means you as a published author. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts today. Okay, shift number 1. And I've written a book on each of these, right? Shift number 1 is your mindset shift, right? Your fear and self-doubt is the number 1 reason why you haven't written your book. I guarantee it. You might cover it up. It's not my right time. I don't have the money, but it's fear and self-doubt that underneath all that. That is why Shut Up and Write Your First is the essential first reading point before you get on to the next one, which is shift number 2, structure and publishing. Okay, the process key in terms of how do I go about it? How do I unpack it? What do I need to understand about the publishing industry? And shift number 3 is sales and marketing. And that is why I wrote Shut Up and Write, Sell Your First Book, which is a book that I released just recently because it's really key to you monetizing, getting your return on investment and helping a lot of people globally. So once you make these shifts, you'll be writing your book with ease, flow, and structure in no time and wonder why you ever waited so long. And then for those of you looking to build a business behind the book, you will be approached by organizers to speak at events, and other influential people you never dreamt of connecting will reach out for collaborative joint ventures. All right, you will see the ripple effect of the work you're doing and the difference you're making, not just on a local scale, but national and global. And you will see a new version of yourself appear. Remember, writing your book is not about the book, but about the person you become at the other end of it. Some of our authors say healing, confidence, and growth are just some of the intangible, priceless benefits of getting their books done. So let's smash through some of these shifts that you need to overcome. And that is the first one is overcoming fear and self-doubt. I'm sure you have probably thought this at some point, or maybe you're thinking it right now. I'm not good enough. Who am I to say I'm the expert? That fear of sharing something that would leave you vulnerable, yeah? Or maybe you're new in business and you go, I don't have any expertise. What if I get found out? What are you going to get found out about? Really, really common things that I hear from authors all the time. So if you get this wrong, you will spend years trying to write your book. And it's not going to be anything, I don't know how, it's something internally that's holding you back. And that is the first thing. We've got to get you out of your own way. You got to get over yourself so you can do it. But if you get it right, you will get out of your own way and finally finish the story and the book of your dreams. So how do we clear your fear? First thing, I want you to stop making it about you. It's not about you. It's about the people you will serve, the people that will read your story and they'll be inspired, or the ones that, are going through the trauma or the pain of maybe what they need to overcome themselves. Sharing that, if you can help at least one person, isn't that worthwhile? And of course, if you help one, you can help more. Think about solving other people's pain. Again, maybe you had a pain and now you're okay. That's why you're probably going, I want to share this, zero to hero story. I want to share what it is that I've gone through so I can save people pain and time and possibly money as well, if you're an expert in that particular area. And, own the years of experience that you do have. Own them, because even if you're new in a particular area or a business, you're probably wise enough and have lived enough life to have got that experience. All right. So really key, stop making it about you. Here's an example of one of our authors, Francesca Moy. Started out new in business, same thing, no confidence. She has a very thick Italian accent. She lives in Australia, felt worried that people wouldn't take her serious She was worried about her accent and underpriced herself. She literally was losing money on her program, on her course, which was like a 2-day face-to-face thing, and she had to hire venues, and there's literally nothing left at the end of the day. Now, in 5 months, Francesca wrote and published 2 books. We actually co-wrote Bums on Seats together, but she wrote the one on the left there, Follow Me, Shut Up and Build Your Network. And in just the next 12 months, she went from a $1,000 program to a $7,000 program and generated almost $250,000 in her revenue in her business. And then not only that, completed 100 events as a speaker, which obviously generated a lot more leads and people interested in working with her further, and then has pivoted also her business from an offline to an online model, which is the ultimate dream of many, the laptop lifestyle. You can do it from anywhere, right? So then she also wrote a 3rd book just last year, 3 or 4 years, because she knew the value of writing a book and how much credibility it increases and how much it builds your profile. So remember, you are the expert. You only live through the experience and you have a unique story. Embrace your flavor, I say, embrace your flavor. And there is always someone out there looking for what you've got to offer, because there's always someone that's 5 to 10 steps from wherever we are. All right, shift number 2, structure and publishing. Let's get into this. Did you know that it takes only 5 hours of speaking to produce a 40,000 word book, right? Spoken books can be read twice as fast by your readers if they read it cover to cover. Can you believe it? Like 40,000 words, usually 6.5 hours. It will take like 3.5. And your true authentic voice comes through, and plagiarism is easily avoided this way. So if you get this wrong, you will take months, years, or decades people take to write their books, which end up being outdated. Okay. And then you keep changing and working it over and over and over. But if you get it right, you will finish your book in just 48 hours and be relevant and reap the rewards within weeks, not decades. All right. So how do you do it? First of all, unpack your book. Okay. Start with the big picture. What are the 12 chapters? I recommend 12, because 12 means then you can convert it into an online course, 12-step online course, 12-week program, 12-month program, if it's got that kind of aspect. So 12 is kind of like the months of the year and a good amount of time for people to create a transformation. You know, it could be a 90-day program, which runs over like 12 weeks or something like that. All right, unpack your chapters. It's the next one. Go level down. So as I said, there are templates in the Ultimate 48-Hour Author book that show you the book unpack, the chapter unpack, because this is what removes writer's block. Unpacking your chapters, getting your stories, your stats, facts, whatever it is, objections, pulled together is really key to you not getting stuck. And go away and get it done. Number 3, go hire yourself a hotel room, go away for a weekend and with your chapter unpacks and get it done. Focus, because you've set aside that time, you've invested to be somewhere else, and you're going there for a purpose. Get yourself out of your everyday environment so that you are not like you're in a more creative space and you have set a purpose for going there. All right, so these are the steps to writing a book in 48 hours. So the first thing, you unpack the book, is step 1, prep. It takes about 10 to 12 hours to prep and unpack your chapters. So, you know, however you enjoy doing it. Some people do mind maps. Other people use our templates of unpacking chapters. Retreat, you take stuff away, or you might like to attend one of our Ultimate 48-Hour Author retreats where we do everything start to finish. Transcription is the next step if you have chosen to speak out your book. Now, some of our authors don't speak out their books. They rather would type, but still all of the previous steps apply even if you're typing, okay? And then publishing. Whatever you do, you must find someone to help you with a publishing package, okay? Really, really, really important, okay? Because you may attempt the first 4 steps, although I know there's a lot of nuances and support and customization that we do with our authors that people can't sometimes work out all on their own, and they want that support and mentorship along the way. But please, whatever you do, not try to publish your own book. You don't want to end up with a book that looks like it's been done in a bedroom. You want to end up with a book that looks like it belongs in a bookstore and it looks super professional and polished. All right, Karen Gamble, here's another story of an author, a record holder, only 49 days to complete a book start to finish. Now, when I say 48 hours, the execution of the content is in 48 hours. What happens afterwards is you need to go through what we say the publishing process. Now, we have an in-house publishing company called Ultimate World Publishing, and that takes the books then onto that particular process of editing, layout, and printing and all that, which I'll explain towards the end. But, you know, usually we say it takes 3 months to go through that process, but Karen like absolutely smashed it. 49 days from the day she started speaking her book. She said speaking allowed her for freedom of expression, gave her that maximum momentum to get it done. And she had flow using the chapter unpacks, which is what the structure is, right? She said, imagine sitting at your computer for 100 hours over just speaking for 5. I know which choice suited me better. So remember, you must have a plan, go prepared and focused and get it done. All right, the next thing I want to cover off with you is selecting publishing with caution. Having been in this space now for a decade and longer, I have learned a lot of things about the publishing industry. And I like to say there's the light and the dark side of publishing. There's people who have every good intention and they leave you the heck alone. And there's ones that want to continue selling you and harassing you and phoning you all the time. This is what happened with my first book. That's how I know. All right, so how to select, decide on your intention with your book. Like, what's your intention? Book sales, bestseller status, what is it? And or leverage behind it. Ask the right questions, and I'm going to share those with you in a moment, and speak with those that have worked with them. I wish I had known to just reach out to the authors that were published through this company that did the first book of mine, and then find out what the experience was like. I invite you to connect with any one of my authors on my website. You'll find them all on our authors, page, and just ask them, what do I like? It's one thing for me to say what I'm like. It's another thing for other people who've been a client and a customer through their journey. All right, really, really important. So what is the publisher's intention? So some publishers will focus on your book sales, and usually that's your traditional publishing route. They want to sell books, and that's how they monetize their business. And I'll tell you the differences between traditional self-publishing and 48-hour author, and why, and the pros and cons within all of that. Done for your marketing. So some publishers will get you the low front end and then they're going to keep calling you guys, try to sell you $15,000 to $50,000 packages. It happened with book number 1. It's still happening a decade later. They still ring me. They won't take me off. They give my number to other companies, which I don't like. Entry point to their funnel. So the front end publishing is not expensive, because they know once that you're in, they're going to be able to upsell, right? Bestseller status. Some people promise we're going to make you a best-selling author, right? And if I had a bit more time, I would explain how much of a hack and a strategy a lot of the time the best-selling stickers are on books, and that it's quite a dodgy way of elevating a book status, because people manipulate the systems. Okay, leverage with your book. This is my intention. My intention is for my authors to look at the leverage for their books, not the bestseller status, not the book sales or done for you marketing and things like that. I want to empower my authors to know and learn how to leverage their own books with low cost or no cost marketing strategies that get them noticed. Okay, so the wrong publisher will cost you time and money. They'll harass you with phone calls. It's happening to this day to me. We'll focus only on book sales for profit, which is your traditional publishers. Try to get you to buy thousands of your own books, this is the bestseller strategy, where you get to buy 5,000 of your own books and get stuck with them in your garage, which is what you don't want. Sell you done for your marketing packages in the tens of thousands of dollars, or they won't release the book rights to you, which is what happened with my first book. But the right publisher will do the work and leave you the heck alone. This is what we do at Ultimate World Publishing. We don't want to, unless you want to write a second or a third book, by all means, contact us. Come to us. We're not going to go chasing you. Do a self-published job that looks like traditional publishing, looks really polished, professional, and as if it's published by a global publishing company. Release your book to you so you can print it anywhere. This is what happened in my first book. This is why I also have another cover. You'll see it on a slide in a moment. But I didn't get my book released. I had to keep reprinting, which was costing me 3 times the amount of money than if I could do it just myself on print on demand, which is how I set up my books now and have international distribution with them through a platform we use called Ingram Spark, which is based in America, has head offices in Australia and the UK and Europe, and has this distribution network of 39,000 online resellers. And you can fulfill books overseas, and you can print them at, around $4.5–5 US, not 15 as what they were trying to charge me. Recommend ways you can promote your book. I host masterclasses 6 times a year for my authors beyond their retreat, author in the hot seat segments, weekly Q&A, so the education keeps flowing and educating those first-time authors in everything they need to do, and provide leveraging education with your book, which is what I just mentioned. So let's compare. There's the traditional publishers, self-publishers, 48-hour author. What is the differences? Well, traditional publishers are your Hay House, Wiley, Penguin, Random House, all of those we've all heard of, yeah? The most coveted way of being published. But guess what? There's a high rate of rejection, and the rejection is not because there's crappy manuscripts being handed in. The rejection is there because people approach them who absolutely have no network. They don't have a following, and that is why they get rejected, because a traditional publisher wants to be guaranteed that they are going to make money from their authors, yeah? But they're going to sell thousands of books. Why do you think celebrities get traditionally published? Yeah, their focus is just on book sales. They want to know, if I'm going to pay for the front end of the publishing, I'm going to make lots of money at the back end. And their royalties are teeny tiny, 5 to 15%. The process is super slow, 2 to 3 years. And you can be picked up, guess what, from self-publishing by a traditional publisher. Rich Dad Poor Dad and Harry Potter were originally self-published, and then they were picked up by a traditional publisher. Now, self-publishing is when you invest in a process. It's just a process, okay? And you control it. You're guaranteed to become an author if you can write the book. So sometimes people try to cut corners with just buying a self-publishing package. And I often will see them in one of my seminars, and they go, oh, yes, I bought a publishing package 4 years ago from Balboa Press or someone. And I'm like, okay, where's the book? Well, didn't have the support in the writing or the mentoring. So you have to coordinate it yourself. Yes, it's fast to publish, but slow to execute. And it can be a lower cost way to start. Now with 48-hour author, I would like to call it guided publishing, because self-publishing, the way I went through it with my first book, it was just emails, literally, and no phone calls. Whereas we've got people you can speak to live, that you connect on weekly publishing accelerator calls, that we mentor you through unpacking the book and getting it all structured and going through a community process within the retreat. So you're completing your book in just 48 hours. You're getting the mentorship, you're getting the marketing, publicity, education support. It's all under one roof. I don't know of any other company that does this end-to-end process. We take on a huge responsibility, but our authors come out published at the other end. I have a 93% follow-through rate. That is massive, when in this world of education and mentorship, only 3% of people ever follow through to get a result. And we certainly teach you how to leverage your business to 6 figures and beyond. This is my book. Yeah, I don't even have a high resolution picture of my first copy of my book. Okay, that's how much they held back on any of my, even imagery of the cover. As you can see, it's blurry. So I had to republish it. I made a ton of mistakes. I did not have a mentor on this journey. This is a crappy cover. I didn't learn very much from cover 1 to cover 2. There was no marketing savvy. There was no calls to action. There's no, I just did all of those same mistakes that I see first-time authors make when they go, I can do this by myself without a mentor. I'll just buy a publishing package. So please don't do what I did, because there's so much other aspects within the book of how you can be super clever to bring out a high quality product. So the bottom line is, be clear on your intention. What do you want to get out of your journey of writing a book? Ask the right questions. So will I get the print ready files of my book? I hope you guys are not going to harass me for years afterwards, with these phone calls. You can be cheeky. I learned it on a seminar, right? And talk to one of their authors. Talk to one of their authors. Talk to others that have used them. All right, shift number 3, let's go. Don't sell your book, sell premium price services, because if you just focus on a $20 or a $30 product, you're missing the bigger picture and the bigger potential behind it. Because let me share some stats with you. To sell $100,000 worth of books, you need to be in the top 2% of published authors in your country. You will need to be in every major bookstore in the country who takes more than 70% of the cost of the sale, leaving very little for you. For imagine how many units you have to sell to get to 6 figures. you need to spend most of your waking hours promoting, spruiking, and pushing your book. And the clincher is, well, to sell $100,000 worth of books. Actually, it would be easier to just go get a job. But with the average wage in Australia being like 50K, maybe wherever you are in the world, if you're USA, Canada, or New Zealand, maybe it's about the similar. Well, you may as well get 2 jobs, work 80 hours a week, and have no life. All right. So if you get this wrong, you won't change many lives, because books are information and knowledge. Selling lots of books won't necessarily end up helping lots of people. Okay, if you get it right, you will end up developing a premium price program that includes implementation, therefore provides transformation, and you will end up working only with those that are committed and see results that are out of this world. Okay, implementation leads to transformation. This is why just so many people have read my books, but when they do the program properly, they work with us, we're implementing together, we see transformation and people not giving in to their own fears and self-doubts. So to create leverage, think bigger. A book, my 12 chapters, guess what? That can become a 12 module online program. Passive income, which is people who can't afford you one-to-one or come into your high-end stuff, they can tap into the online program, which is revenue. You do it once, you enjoy it for life. Speaking gigs, one-to-many exposure through workshops, retreats, and of course the media is going to consider you over anyone else who just says, I'm an expert in that field. These are all part of your rockstar profile, and where you can also charge top dollar and premium pricing. Here's a story of Rachel Sheldrick. She wrote a very short book, 20,000 words, because her target market had a short attention span. They were mechanics. Turbocharge how to take your auto repair business from survival to success. And in 12 months after publishing her book, she leveraged, not obviously she sold books, because she did $30,000 in book sales. But the better aspects of what the book brought into her was helped her win $50,000 worth in revenue of paid speaking gigs. And she had a $3,200 online course, and she sold 70 of those, which was $224,000, $304,000 in book-related revenue. This was 6 years ago. You don't even know what I know. She's a 7+ figure business owner now, being 6 years after the book has been released. So the key is to leverage your time one-to-many. Have a premium price program, and then see your clients' results soar. So today I promised how you can complete your book in just 48 hours, even if you haven't started putting pen to paper yet. How to rapidly raise your profile and become a person of influence without needing to spend years working on credibility. Then we went through how you can write an awesome book without needing to have gone to writing courses and have a degree in literacy. How to move away selling your time for money and doing that exhaustive one-to-one work, and moved into a leveraged business model that is easy to scale to 6 figures and beyond, and how to pull all this together without dealing with shady publishers, poor design, and worry about having a garage full of book no one wants to read. So what you need to win, guys, is those 3 keys. Your mindset. You need to overcome your fear and self-doubt. You need to learn a system of structure and publishing, which is 48-hour author, and what that particular blueprint shows all first-time authors especially to do. And then you need to master your promotions, and that is through sales and marketing. I want to talk you through how all of this happens and what we do. This is our process. And then I'll let you know my invitation, have a complimentary author breakthrough chat, which is where you can explore your book idea. So if you look at this flow chart at the right here, this is where publishing begins. But prior to publishing is all the support and mentoring to get you to go into publishing, right? Ignore the date here on the slide, but we run retreats 4 times a year: Feb, May, August, November. That's when they always are. They're around the same dates, and we do them over and over. To date, we're about to do the 40th retreat. Okay, and that's, over a long period of time, lots of different groups. These are people who are going start to finish through this whole process. So when someone joins our program, their first thing is a 90-minute one-to-one call where we unpack the book. We show you a chapter unpack. You get a manual to prepare you for the retreat, and you have 10 to 12 hours of pre-work. In the meantime, we'll work on a mock-up cover for you, because your mock-up cover will have critique and feedback during the retreat with our designer live on the call, and he'll make any tweaks, because guess what? during the call on that first day of the 3-day retreat, we are going to pre-launch. We'll encourage you and show you how to pre-launch, because this here is the cure to procrastination. I'll tell you about it more when I talk to you. Anyway, at the retreat, we join via Zoom, and we're from all different countries in the world. We only take 15 to 20 people per retreat, okay, because we're doing something intense, so it is intimate. Okay, you have mentorship, you have lessons, teach plans, and you have enough time to record your book if you're recording. So there's 7 speaking recording hours. Okay, it's very dynamic, it's very fast-paced, and it goes and flies so quickly. It's 9 hours day 1 and 2 and 5 hours on day 3, and we wrap it up. And then we go into post-retreat accountability and mentoring, and there's a weekly contact every week. We transcribe your audio, up to 5 hours of audio. You will review and clean up your transcript, which is within those 30 critical days post-retreat, and then you're ready to go into editing. Okay, this is where your publishing journey will begin. You go into editing, you get allocated an editor that works in your genre of book, and they will, we believe they'll work really well with you, and they'll go through 2 or 3 heavier rounds of editing, and then you'll go into, they'll advise you're ready to go to layout. At layout, your book starts to look like a real book. Our layout designer will match up the cover to the internals and make it look really awesome and start to look like a real book. First, they'll give you a sample layout. After the sample, once you've approved it with a bit of back and forward, you'll go to full layout, and then you'll start proofing. When you have proofed, then your editor will proof last of all, and they'll show you what they may have found, and then we'll be ready to publish and print your first proof copy. Because in hand, there's a little bit of a different perspective than looking at a book on a computer screen. Once we've done the first proof copy, and maybe if you found some bits and pieces that may have been missed again, we'll fix those up. We will re-upload an Ingram Spark. We will educate and teach you how to control your own accounts. You keep all the rights, all the royalties. The only thing that's on the back of your book that's ours is our global publishing logo of Ultimate World Publishing. Okay, that's going to be at the back of the book, but everything else is yours. It's set up in your own Ingram Spark account, into your own Amazon account. You get ebook conversion of the book, and we just train you on all of the things you got to do. And then it's up to you how many more of the trainings, the masterclasses and things. So this is our all-inclusive end-to-end system. Sometimes people just do the front bit and they go, when I'm ready, then I'll buy the publishing package. Some people go, I can do this by myself. So they just get a publishing package, or others do what we call the ultimate package. All right. So now you have a choice. Okay. And that is a choice that there are 3 ways to learn something. And I do hope you're going to choose number 1 or number 2. Number 1 is do it the easy and fast way. Get someone else to teach you that has the results you want. And I'll tell you what that looks like in a moment. Number 2 is the hard and slow way. Learn yourself by trial and error. At the very least, I encourage you, go on my website, writeabook.com.au, go to the products page and buy the trilogy and planner, all the trilogy and the planner with all templates, and at least go through it and start doing it yourself. It's going to be much slower. You're going to have to work things out on your own, but it's better than doing it absolutely without anything. All right. And number 3 is the tragic way, doing nothing and just going up to another seminar and listening more, and keep giving into that little voice inside you saying that maybe it's not the right time, you're not good enough, you're not ready, and all that sort of stuff. Please don't give in to it. I know you've got everything within you to get this done. All right. So here's my invitation to you. Come along to an author breakthrough chat. It's a 30-minute focused chat. The link will be below this video. You can see it here on the screen. You choose your time. When you see the times, it'll be in your time zone. Make sure you check if it's AM or PM, because if we are on the other side of the world, generally be PM for America and Canada. Okay, so make sure you're checking those things, because people accidentally do book us in the middle of our nights, and then of course only sessions that are available in our time zone that we can take will show up. But there will be times that you're awake and we're awake at the same time. Answer the questions there. They really help us guide what we are going to be talking about, and so that we can best serve you. We come prepared on the call, and then follow the Zoom link at your meeting time. There will be a unique Zoom link and we'll meet you. We're always on time. So who is this for? You must be absolutely committed to writing a book now, not 6 months or 1 to 2 years. If that's the case, then just go to another seminar and another time, see what's new in 2 years' time. Do it right now. The less you think about it, the faster you'll get it done. Those needing clarity on what to write about and how to go about it. Why are we doing this? Well, on the call, we'll help you exactly gain total clarity about exactly what you want your book and your business to look like and the exact steps you should take to achieve your goals. And if you want us to help you, and if we think it's a good fit, we may invite you to become one of our authors that we'll take on this month. So if we work together, we'll put you through the same programs we put all of our authors through. The curriculum is designed to get you to be a published author in the shortest time possible, and we'll expect you to be a published author upon the completion of the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Program. But before you book, although this session is offered complimentary to you, please understand that our time and knowledge is extremely valuable. You're either generally going to speak to myself or Stuart, my husband, okay? You get to speak to us, and you don't get to speak to some random people you've never met, right? I've already shown you a picture of Stuart, and you'll love talking to him if you end up getting him. So please book only if you're serious about writing and publishing your book, and turn up at your scheduled time, okay? It only takes a little text message or email to say if something's come up. Please do that. It's really, really respectful and helpful if you let us know ahead of time so someone else can take advantage of a call. All right, so here they are, the time, the link, as I said, it's below this recording. Click on it, answer the questions, and let's connect, and let's make you that author you've always wanted to be. So remember that writing your book is not about the book, but it is about the person you become at the other end of it. And I'm aiming to get to my first 1,000 first-time authors help. It is very much, we treat everyone like family. That's what we like. It's a family business, and everyone feels really connected and stays in our lives for a long time. I have authors that are writing their 5th books already. And often after 18 months of writing your first, you're probably going to be thinking about your second. All right, have an amazing, amazing day, and I hope to connect with you soon. See ya.